the graphics package, I call it a graphics package, is, well, it is that, but it's a very, very simplistic way of using the PNG images that are both, well, that are embedded in the CD-ROM, but you do get a file with all of them on, which you can use in a regular graphics package of your choice. But what I'd like to do with this tutorial is just go into a little bit more detail than we did with the walkthrough tour, and just explain to you how it works, how simple it is, and hopefully convince you to have a go, because it's pretty good fun and nice and simple to use. Okay, so I will have gone on from the main CD and clicked onto in this one I'm using the floral one, the floral elements, and come to the graphics page here. Now this will work with all of the black and white to colour range, so it'll be the same for all the other CDs in the range as well, but I'm just going to use flowers here, the floral one, and the flowers within it to use as a demonstration. So let's start off with our large florals here, and I will pick out a design at random. Let's go for that one. So what we're going to do is click onto it, and you'll notice that there's a blue box around it, and that just highlights it to let you know that that's been selected. Now you've got two tools up here, either the hand, it says click to pan around the document, and selection tool for text and images. It really doesn't matter, it works on both, but I suppose, let's say for argument's sake, we use that one because we're clicking onto images. But if you're on to that one, really it works with both. So we've clicked on and we've got a blue box around here. Now if you double click, you'll notice this box come up here. It says Robert. That's me. And you can totally ignore that. Now you can do that in one of two ways. You just click onto it there, or if it clicks, just click back onto it and it should hopefully disappear. It sometimes does in the graphics package. There we go. Sometimes doesn't. It's the speed at which you double click. So let's just try that again, and then double click and off it goes. And that's merely because these are actually, it's a pseudo graphics package, and these are actually what we would technically call stamps within Adobe Reader. So click on, highlight the image, and then now you need to copy it. There's one of two ways. You can go up to the edit tool and go edit and copy. Unfortunately that's disappeared off the side of the screen, or you can use your keyboard control, which is Control and C, and that's the same for your Mac and your PC, the Control key and the C key. So it's a regular copying as you would with anything that you normally use. So let's go Control C, and I can click onto my graphics, either my landscape or portrait, and here we can see we get a portrait card with the blue line separating it, so it'll be an A4 folded to A5. And here we've got the A5 panel, and this just gives you the box for the square cards if you want to make them. The blue lines do not print. They're there as guides. You know not to go up to them too close, or your image won't print at the edge, or it won't be an even card. So they're there purely as guidelines for you. So when we're on the page, simply go Control V to copy and paste it back on there. Now if that doesn't happen for whatever reason, sometimes you need to just click onto the page first, ignore that going blue, but you click onto it and that might just activate to let it know that it's there. That doesn't often happen, but I'm just going to let you know. So far so good, nice and easy. I've just clicked back onto the image, and now what I can do is just make it bigger or smaller by dragging the handles here. Now what I might want to do is make this into the landscape card. So what you can do now is actually rotate it as well. So I can just go round like so. Holding the shift key when it's close to 90 degrees will pop it to 90 degrees, and then just expand that out to the size that I want it to be. So again, very, very simple and easy to do. Now you've got to imagine that what we're doing here is just matte and layering. It's as simple as that. So that's my first layer down. Now to go back and get some more images, I can do one of two things. I can hit the return key, which will take me back to the main page, or if I go back to, let's go back to the graphics page. In fact, let me just show you a little demonstration here. I'm going to pick up a piece of graphics from here. So I'm going to click onto it, and again, a blue box encircling it. I'm going to go to Control C and back to Graphics Portrait. And again, I'll just try Control V, no problems. If there had, I would have just pre-clicked. And then I can pop this one, whoops, on top there. Hold one of the corners, drag it out, and you can see now we're matte and layering, so this layer now becomes the top one. Again, I'll just click off. The blue comes on, that's just selecting everything there. If we click to the hand tool, you'll find that that doesn't. But we can still select and use all the elements, so that might be something that you want to do. As I said, we could use either of these two tools. I'm going to stay in the hand one actually, because it's working for us and we don't get that annoying selection, because it's seeing this entire page as a piece of graphics, which is why with the selector tool it's being a little bit funny for us. So I will share that with you. However, back to the story. I have clicked onto this, I've made my graphics. Now I can go on return, it'll send me to the main page. I have to go and work my way through. Here's the keyboard shortcut coming up. You are going to hold the Alt key, ALT, bottom left on your keyboard, one of the keys around that area, and it is the same for the Mac. It's Alt, and you'll see arrow keys. These are over on the right on my regular keyboard, a left and a right. So I'm going to hold the Alt key and the left arrow key, and that just says going backwards. Pointing left, going back, and you can see now it's taken me straight to the page here, and if I hold the Alt and the forward arrow key, it takes me back to where I am there. That is a really useful little shortcut. Memorize it, and then it just saves you a little bit of time. So what should we do now? Let's have another flower. So Control C, back to the graphics portrait, Control V, and we'll pop that up there like so. And again, that can be turned around, and let's just do that. We click onto the circle there and just turn it to any angle that you want there. You will notice that as you turn it, that the graphic sometimes goes a bit grey and fuzzy. That's just the pixels trying to reorientate themselves on your screen. The actual printing of it is still very good. It's just the way that it appears on there. Remember, this isn't a real graphics package, so it struggles a little bit with things. A few other things we can do, and one is if you click onto it and go on to Control E, think of that, Control Edit. Ignore me up there. We can control the opacity, so we can make it slightly grey, and you'll see it just coming through. And we'll just highlight that again. If you click onto more, you can see that you can slide it and make it lighter or darker. Ignore the colour, you don't have any choice. It's black or it's white or it's grey, somewhere in between. That's about it. Okay, so we'll just click onto there. To be honest, in this particular instance, I don't think you need that. So I'm going to click off it. Now, let's say we're matte and layering. We've got a couple of layers up, and you've decided, oh, do you know what? Actually, I think I wanted that a little bit further down. So it is important to try and think ahead about what you want to do, but you can still save the day. So what we can do is just, and it's a little bit long, we're now going to go Control X and Control V. That now puts this one on top, and before I move that one over, I'll go Control X, Control V, and I can just shuffle about with the order now. So this does still remain on top, that goes there, and this one just nestles in underneath like so. Now that's on the top there, but as you click off, you'll see it in its place there, and then that one goes to there, and that's everything highlighted now and in position. So we can have a little bit of control on this. To move some of the elements around, you have to be a little bit careful. This is where it can be a little bit tricky. Now that one's hanging off the edge there, so I can just pick up to it. This one's on the top, but if you notice, it can disappear sometimes, but as long as it's on the top, I can get to it. If I try and click onto that and it's not on the graphics, I get that main one there. That always brings it to the front. And there we go. So that's one way of working with the graphics. And in fact, it's very, very simple, matte and layering. If you want to see what everything's looking like, just click onto the screen and all the layers will go in position. And that effectively is that. But it is really, really useful because you can add bits to it. You can create your own. You can do all sorts of things with it. Really, it's about controlling the size and shape of things that you want here. There we go. That goes on to there. Now it won't always. Let me just move that out of the way. Sometimes it won't. If I show you there now, it just won't let me take that off the edge. It's not going to allow you to drop over the side or anything exciting like that. Remember, this is very, very, very simple. Whoops, let's click onto there. You only need to hold on to the corner and drag it. I'm so used to hitting the shift key. If you've done graphics before, you know why you do it, because it stops it altering the shape. But these are just locked, so it won't alter anything there. And now I can just play around with this if I want to. That's disappeared behind there because that one was dropped at the back. So to get it back, well, I've got a little bit of a problem because it's now stuck behind there. I literally have to move that and go back onto it again. So there are shortcomings on this, but by and large, do you know what? It does a pretty good job. So I'm going to go Apple X. I'm in my olden day. Control X. So I've cut it and Control V just to paste it. However, if I go Control C and Control V, I've got another one. And again, I can just change the size of that. So it's just very simple shortcuts on there. Getting hold of those corners can be a little bit problematic. You might find it easier just to move it away. It kind of springs back to its default shape and go around there. So again, I can just copy. In fact, if I just go Control V now, I'll get that one back at that size. So that's great. We can build up, we can make lovely patterns for colouring in and add other elements to it as well. So that's a great way of working with the documents here. Now, you've made this wonderful piece of graphics, you print it out. Is it a one-hit deal? Yes and no. Okay, saving. Can you save this? Yes, but it saves the whole of this mini bit of program while it's separate. It's quite big. So if you are going to do lots of things and want to save them, you're probably going to be better off working in a regular graphics package. However, if we go to here now, File, and I'm going to go to Save, it's going to ask where I want to save this. I'm just going to say click Desktop, pick a folder here, something, let's go Publicity and Covers, and just go Save. Now that's going to save the whole of this little floral graphics program, and that's got all of the PDF, the PNG files in it. So it's quite big. I think it's about 50 something, 50 meg. So it's a biggish file. There's no real way around that. But it's there and saved for you, and that's you might be able to make a snapshot tool and get it that way. But bear in mind, this is really more of a one-hit wonder if you're creating something. However, if you produce something wonderful, as I said, you can save it and that will at least give you the opportunity to come back and visit it if you want to. It is not by any means a definitive all singing, all dancing graphics package, but what it does do, and I'm going to go Alt and return arrow key. Let's just go to return actually. It gives us a great opportunity to work with the graphics packages here. Graphics portrait down there. I'm going to go here and bring out my fan. I keep holding the shift key down to drag. You don't need to do that. That's just force of habit. And what you'll see here is we can make our own little fans. That's the blank one there. Again, ignore the blue line, that's not going to print, and I can just pop that over, move it around. I could make that part of my card if I want to, and create my own fans. So that's rather nice. You are it will come out beyond the white on there, so just be aware that's your sort of limit, as it were, on that. So with that one sticking out, I could move it. If I move that out there, can pop that to there, move this back over, and again I can make that smaller or larger. It gives you an idea of what we can do. I can do the back key there, Control C, back to graphics portrait, and Control V. I've got a little fan up here. Do not be misled by thinking because they're small, when you make them larger the detail's going to disappear. They are designed to go up to A4. That's the amazing thing with these PNGs. So again, you can see now we can play around. Now we could create, if we wanted, an A4 page to colour in, and that's great, or as I said, work towards your cards. In summary, we're matte and layering. We're simply putting one layer on top of another on top of another. You have a little bit of leeway, and that will enable you to take an object and cut it. So that's Control X and Control V to paste it back on top. You may need to plan things a little bit in order to get everything where you want to go. Okay, so in essence that's really our very, very simplistic graphics, and that will work as I said, with all of the black and white to colour range. At the moment that stands with floral and with the fantasy as well. It's exactly the same thing and same process as we've done here. I would encourage you to have a go. It really is good fun. You can't do any harm, and it's really nice to start creating some of your own designs and personalising it to have it the way that you want it. So it's definitely worth having a little play with it. Okay, and just to recap, the keyboard commands are the same for the Mac and for the PC. And if you're used to copying, it's the same thing. Control C for copying, Control V for pasting, Control X if you want to take something out, so Control X. There we go. We want to paste it, Control V, and if we want to copy it, Control C and then Control V, and we end up with two. And that's all you really need to know. Nice and simple, easy to use. Now if you are an advanced graphics person or someone who likes to play with it and feel you really want to take this a bit further, as I've said, you will be supplied with the folders with all of the PNGs on them, and the eagle-eyed ones, if you may notice, there's one or two little extras sprinkled in there. You can use those in a regular graphics package and have a little bit more control. This is designed to work as black and white images, but you can then in a graphics package drop colour in, etc. The mode for this, so without getting too technical for everyone here, is grayscale, so you may have to change it back to RGB. Now that can go right over your head if you never intend to use another graphics package, but for those of you out there that are, be aware you may have to play around with it. That said, you can import it into a colour page and you should be okay. Now that's the advanced graphics, and we're not covering that here. We're just doing all the really fun simple stuff. So that's all done there. Click back to return, and you can see now we've got everything here that we want to play with. They might look a little bit small, but they are pretty big. Control C, graphics portrait, Control V, and if I just make that a little bit bigger, we can play around with that as well. Now I've left the heart in here, and I didn't take that out because if you want to add things to it, it's very difficult to put the white space back in. But if you want to, you could go to a graphics package and remove that, but that's fine. Then we could add bits to it. Now if I go Control X, Control V, that will come to the top layer, and I can start overlaying the fan on there. And of course, moving things around. We want to have a little bit of fun. And just starting to create perhaps a bigger page to colour in with elements. Okay, that really is the basics of what we've got here, and that should hopefully get you going with everything that you need to do with it. And I hope that it's given you the confidence really to have a go and try it out. It's all good fun, and I said the pages are easy to create, and it's quite good fun. Okay, I will leave you to ponder on everything that you've watched, and hopefully inspired you to have a go. Please do, because it is so simple to use, and your whole experience with the CD really is taken to another level. Anyway, enjoy your crafting, have fun, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.